I've been going through a really rough time, and I didn't get to see him as much or talk to him as much as I wanted to. And when he came up to stay with my dad and I up in Washington, we started to reconnect, and he just told me stories about all of the people and all of the different things that he had been doing. He had been trying to catch me up with, I'm sure I know all of you in some story or some funny thing he wanted to tell me. But he was loved by so many different groups of people. And even during the years that we were really distant, he taught me things. In weird ways, I knew that he was teaching me. And I just wish that I had more time with you, Jeff. I was a little sister that annoyed him, and I had all of the friends that loved to annoy him even more. Pranks did not go, he pranked me probably more than any of you people, and some of them were not very kind-spirited. But I pranked him back, and, you know, I don't know if anybody knows the story of the stupid song, but Jeff and I would always sing stupid, 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 everything is stupid. And he would say that a lot about all sorts of situations, which is funny because Jeff was very intelligent. In a weird way, he had a hunger for knowledge, and he's gonna be missed. He'll always be here with me though. I can feel his presence, and damn it, Jeff. Why do you have to be so stubborn? But we love you.
I truly want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I know Kent just flew in today, and I could tell many things about Jeff and Kent. Waking up and hearing pots and pans clinking in my kitchen, and they're making pancakes. And I wake up and they said, "Do you want some?" Well, of course I do. They're my ingredients. Just clean up your mess, and they always did. It was so embarrassing when we went to Kent's wedding in Savannah, Georgia, and Jeff was the one who won out to be the best man. And I had this very long motherly talk because many of you knew how Jeff dressed. It was his way and his way only. And that wasn't my doing. I kept his clothes nice and clean and folded it in the drawer, but somehow, you know, he was himself and he did it his way, and I had this little talk. Now you need to shower, you need to get dressed, and change those socks. I will later. I've got things to go do. No, do it now. And he said, no, I will do it later. Well, he ended up in his tuxedo with those blankety-blank white socks on, and I was so angry. And yeah. And so for Cody, yeah, he didn't talk much, did he? I went to lunch with him many times, and I was the jabbery one, and he'd just nod his head, and I'd say, "So what you up to?" "Not much." And then at the end of the lunch, I'd say, "Well, no, that went well." I'd say, "That went well. You said maybe 10 words to me. This is an improvement." So he didn't, but he did it his way. I told him when he was really little, "You need to make your bed before you go to school. If you don't, I'm coming down to the school. I'm going to stand in the door and I'm going to invite you to come home and make your bed." Well, I didn't think he really believed me, and so for about a week, he didn't make his bed, so I made the little trek down to school, stood in the door and said, "Hey, you got to come home, you got to make your bed." And from that time forth, Jeff always was able to figure things out the easy way. He never slept under sheets that I know of. He always had a blanket that his grandma made, and that was how he slept. Didn't have to worry about the bed, didn't have to worry about mom, and everything was great. And in high school, I got a phone call from one of the advisors. Can you please come down and get his letter? And I said, a letter? What did he do? What kind of a letter? Well, he lettered. And I go, well, what does that mean? He's not playing basketball, and he quit football, so what does this mean? Well, apparently he lettered in academics. And the teacher, his advisor said, well, he lettered in academics, and you got to come get his J and all the stars and everything else that's come with it. And I said, you can do that? You can actually letter in academics? Well, I'm a mom, I should know that. But Jeff was always very, very smart. And so for Krista, thank you for keeping him out late, Krista, because he did have a curfew. It was 12 o'clock, and it kept going like 12:05, 12:10, 12:15. So when it got to 12:30, I had another little motherly talk with him, and I said, no, your curfew is 12 o'clock unless you can come up with a list of 4 things that could happen after midnight. Oh, and by the way, you can't list the birth of a baby. And I never saw the list, so I said, please, just come and wake me up and let me know you're home. Well, that happened for maybe about a month, and then it just kind of hit and miss. And one night, I was just so tired, and I knew I wasn't going to get awake from Jeff, so I did the smartest thing that a mother ever could do. I went down and got in his bed. He came trotting down the stairs, and I heard him, and I kind of faked that I was asleep. He stood in the door, and he turned on the light. Oh, no. I am so screwed. So thanks, Krista, for keeping him up late. I could go on and on and on about things that Jeff did. But there was one event that happened in our home that touched my heart, and I knew that I was a really good mom at that time. I woke up and there was someone on in our living room floor that I didn't even know. It was a guy, and he had nowhere to go. He had been kicked out of his home, and Jeff brought him home and said, here, you can sleep on the floor and take your time. My mom will take care of you. I pulled him aside and I said, whoa, what's going on here? And he says, Mom, we don't need to discuss it. Just take care of him. He needs help. That's when I knew that I had a special spirit for a young man. When he was born, we were told we would never have children. It was devastating to me. I wanted to be a mom so bad. And when I was found out that we were expecting our first child, I knew he was a miracle baby. And when they handed him to me in the hospital, the nurse said, this child has a very special spirit, and each one of you know that spirit. And I'm grateful and honored to be his mom. One thing that I tried to do was when he would get in trouble at school or he had a problem, I would say, go write a story, because I love children's stories. And that way he could resolve his own problems, writing them down, and we would spend time reading his stories in the way that he wanted to resolve them. But one thing that I did, that I tried to do, was I tried to read him a story every night. And this is just a very simple book. It's not anything special. It should only take about 10 seconds to get through it. But with Jeff, we had to point at every single picture on the page. And the 15-minute story time would sometimes turn to an hour and a half, and then I caught on what he was doing. He didn't want to go to bed. So this is for you, Jeff. I'm going to read it one last time, because I know this was your favorite book, and it became mine. Good night. Good night, Moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. There were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house and a young mouse, a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and an quiet old lady whispering hush. Good night, moon. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. And good night, mittens. Good night, clocks and good night, socks. Good night, little house and good night, mouse. Good night, comb and good night, brush. Good night, nobody and good night, mush. Good night, and good night to the old lady whispering hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Good night, Jeffy. You sleep tight, for Mama will be there in the morning when the sun is shining bright. It was an honor being your mother. I will miss my Walmart, my gifts coming to me wrapped in a Walmart plastic bag. I will miss my hugs. I will miss my AAA membership card every year because he said he knew I would be safe out on the road. I will miss you, Jeff, but you will not be far away. You'll be right here in my heart. And someday, I will see you again when the sun is shining bright. Oh, we just would like to close. We had some little Utah Service bushes donated. If you'd like to take one, they're right over here. And you can plant them up in the mountain somewhere. They're very important to the deer. And so you can take one of those. And we have some pizza for you, Jeff's favorite food.
I guess that's it. I've been swallowing the pizza for the last 15 minutes.
It's gonna be Tom giving the stuff.
No, Kelly's here.
Oh, Kelly's here. Sorry, Kelly.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start the pizza, but we encourage everyone to continue to mill around, tell stories. Statute of limitations is expired. Nothing they can do anything about. And unless it involves me, then don't tell it. And just enjoy. I know he would want everyone to just enjoy being with each other. He loved every one of you. Kelly? Kelly? Thank you. All right.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this day and to be able to remember Jeff and the great man that he was and that he is. Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for our families that we're able to have here on earth and for the love that we have for one another. Heavenly Father, we ask thee, please bless Jeff and that please bless his family, that they will be able to handle this short period that they will go without him in his company. Heavenly Father, we ask thee to always be with us, to comfort us through our struggles in life, that we'll be able to follow thee and to obey thy commandments, that we may be able to have happiness and love with those around us. Heavenly Father, we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you.